Hey everyone, this is Alp from FP Automation. Welcome back to part 3 of our multi-part series on sales and operations planning within Microsoft Fabric and the Acterys ecosystem. In our previous video, we talked about how teams can perform a demand investigation and then further make changes to their demand plan, specifically on the unconstrained demand plan side, before saving their values, locking down their forecasts, and moving it into the production planning process. In this video, what we will be talking about is the inventory analysis portion of sales and operations planning in the IPP cycle. Before getting into the details of this video, one thing I'd like to mention is a pain point that many companies within the manufacturing, pharmaceutical, as well as consumer product goods space struggle with when it comes to inventory analyses. What we've seen in the past from various different customers that we have worked with is the pain point they're struggling with is around where exactly there are overstock and understock situations between all their SKUs. Going back to what we similarly saw with the statistical forecast when it comes to exception-based planning, the idea is to give companies the ability to have visibility into where exactly there are understock or overstock situations for their particular SKUs. And this can be quite a struggle when a company is working with hundreds, if not thousands of SKUs. But imagine now your company has the ability to be able to integrate your inventory levels immediately from your ERP systems, like for example, D365 Finance and Operations, Sage, NetSuite, and SeisMix, which are all ERP systems we have helped companies within the past to be able to integrate within their Microsoft Fabric and Acterys solutions. By having their beginning inventory as a starting point for their forecast, they can use that as the starting balance to understand where exactly a production plan influence is needed in order to make an adjustment to meet the necessary unconstrained demand that has been put out there from the sales and operations team. So here we can see that the beginning inventory has been fed in from a ERP system, from the company's ERP system itself. From here, once that inventory is in, we're actually able to do an analysis on the unconstrained demand that the company has planned for within the demand planning process. And here we can have calculations in place in order to understand whether or not there is an overstock or understock situation. In this example right here, we had a manufacturing company who wanted to see the next 4 weeks of forecasted demand in comparison to the current inventory levels to see how much weeks of stock they had on hand based on the average 4 weeks of demand coming up. So in this case right here, we can immediately see from a conditional formatting perspective for each SKU where exactly there are overstock and understock issues for that SKU itself, enabling the company to figure out where exactly they need to make production planning changes in order to meet that demand. So you can see right here that we have quick conditional formatting showcasing exactly where under and overstock situations are happening for each of these various different SKUs and where they are normal. We can also see this from a numerical standpoint where you can easily see the calculation WOI across all your various different SKUs. This is just one example from a company using the next 4 weeks of average units being sold from a demand perspective as comparison to the inventory levels that they had for that given week. But this can ultimately be changed to anything that you need based on your particular business and how your business works. This is something that we specialize a lot in helping customers to overcome. In addition to that, another pain point that customers struggle with is where are the negative inventory balances? Where do they need to have production planning met? When you're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of SKUs of data, it's tough to understand where exactly you have inventory shortages, which could result in a very reactive situation where you may have the wholesale instead of producing in a timely manner from a lead time perspective, further influencing costs. It's all about having visibility into the data, and with these solutions, we're able to give that visibility to our customers and help them have that visibility to ensure that they are protecting their bottom line and better influencing the potential revenue opportunities they have within the business. So here you can see all your various SKUs and exactly where negative inventory balances start to happen within the organization itself. And on top of that, you can also make threshold adjustments. If you know that your weeks of inventory for a particular SKU is different from other SKUs, you can easily make adjustments to those SKUs right from within the Acterys solution right here. In my case, I can see SKU number 1 has a weeks of inventory average that should be anywhere between 5 to 8. Well, we can have specific planning thresholds that we know these SKUs are supposed to be under, and if they are exceeded or are under those thresholds, we can easily spot them out and know exactly where we need to make production planning adjustments in order to ensure that we are not over or under stock in any of our SKUs that could potentially thwart the demand. This is true inventory analysis, and this is how companies are using a BI strategy to be able to understand exactly where they should be making production planning decisions in order to figure out where exactly they need inventory to meet further demand. In our next video, we'll be showcasing to you how exactly this comes into play for the production planning schedule and exactly where companies are seeing how much from a possibility standpoint they have on the production line that they can produce and figure out what the optimal constrained demand is that will ultimately feed the financial plan. If you're interested to learn more about the inventory analytics and how we're working on overstock and understock calculations for companies, please feel free to check out the link below or visit us at fpautomation.co. Thank you, and this is Alp signing out.